But that is then our new train rolling out, and I think it's actually our first electrified passenger train, which is pretty cool indeed. And look at this modern beauty. Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 in the free mode with me, Spacefish, and welcome back to our, well, huge steel bridge for our trains. Welcome back to the huge central gateway to this whole flippin' world that we are taking care of the logistics of. And welcome back to this beautiful big train tracks, well, set of train tracks that we actually set up in the last episode. If you'll remember, we actually spent a lot of time setting up a good bunch of train stations here, a good bunch of connections between Colburn, Broadstairs and St. Peter's, and Basingstoke, and we've got a lot of things to take care of here with all these. Now, for a start, what we will definitely need to be delivering right here is going to be fuel all the way up from Colburn. We will also get, well, one or two passenger lines going. I'm not 100% sure just yet, I'll have to say, if I just connect it all the way through. Well, if I just send one train all the way through, or if I send like two back and forth. So we'll have to find out about that. For the time being, we definitely have got two passenger train connections. So I think what we could do, and I think I was also considering that a little bit in the last episode, would be having one train that would be more of a, well, city hopper kind of train that literally actually stops in every city, and then maybe eventually when the cities start growing, have one high-speed trains that only connects the two big cities on top of that. Because I mean, we've got the capacities, right? We've got two passenger train lines here, we've got a bunch more that we can probably set up, and well, while we're probably going to run a bit low on space here, we do definitely still have the capacity for a third one. Other than that, I mean, we've also got two train lines for cargo here, which is actually kind of confusing me why I set up a second one here. I'll have to kind of find out. You can see there's one going all the way to Basingstoke and then a second one going... I'm really confused as to existence of the second train line right now, I'll have to say. I don't really quite remember why I set that up, to be honest. I think let me place a quick cut and I'll maybe just quickly rewatch the video and see what my intent was there. I'll be right back. Alright, and back I am. So I just checked back in on the video, and as I had kind of assumed, this is, well, both of these are really intended for fuel and just kind of more looking to use one or the other for, well, to actually allow multiple trains to evade each other, because after all, I mean, Basingstoke is actually very far away from Colburn, and, well, I mean, the city's going to grow quite massively. We already have a supply and demand of 108 units of fuel, which is honestly quite a lot. So, one train will maybe potentially not always be able to fulfill all the needs, so that way we've got a spot where, well, we can have train tracks crisscrossing each other, and, well, hopefully they will be able to evade each other a little bit better that way. Now, what I'm thinking I will do here is I will just actually pull out this train track here real quick all the way out to where the steel bridge... Whoopsie, excuse my janky mouse once more. I will just bring this out all the way to where the steel bridge... Excuse my janky mouse even once more. But I'll just bring it all the way out to the steel bridge, basically. I do not think that I will duplicate the steel bridge, because I think the likelihood of the trains really meeting each other right here is honestly pretty slim. It's more going to happen somewhere in the middle here. So I think having another train track up until like here-ish where they can evade each other is going to be totally fine, and anything beyond that is probably just a pretty big waste of money. So we're going to set it up like this right here, then we're going to eventually get some, well, some crossings in right here, just in case they need to evade each other. But for the time being, I think we're going to start out with one train regardless, and then we'll kind of see where to go from there. And this one here was, of course, the one that I was more intending to use for the bricks, aka construction materials, which we're eventually going to get in from here. And I don't really know where to get the clay in from, to be honest. I have not really seen any clay anywhere close, so That might be a big haul actually getting that there. I mean, look at this. There's no clay anywhere. Kind of really wondering right now where we are going to get that from. Because that is crazily long. Is there any quarries? Oh my god, down there. Okay, so that's going to be a very interesting one, because unless we've got anything up here, which we don't really, maybe... I mean, bringing in clay by plane sounds a bit excessive to me, but it would be crazy train line all the way across the map to get some clay there for some brick production. It wouldn't have to be massive trains carrying it to satisfy the requirement. So that's going to be an interesting one. We'll have to see how we do that eventually. For the time being, though, let's get actually at least some passenger transport going. Now, we do not have this connected yet, apparently, as well, which is also kind of an interesting one. Yeah, no clue why, really. I mean, we can get that connected, so we will go and get that connected. And then we've got like another 3 passenger lines right here, which we can, well, eventually, if we need to, use for something else. I don't really think the plan was pretty massive right here. This is just a small side station, while this is more the main station. But, you know, the intent, of course, kind of being that we can get rather straight high-speed train lines going down to the south without much of any issues. So that's the train lines all set up then, I think. Let me just double check that everything is overall very connected. This goes into a tunnel right here, ends up right there. That is all very nicely connected, beautiful. So I think we'll start then with the passenger train lines, and then we'll move on to the fuel. We will definitely need a new train depot, maybe even 2. We will see about that in just a second. And I'm going to start out with 1 train for the passenger line, just as with the fuel line. So that is the connection up and going then, and let's go and get this thing going. I think we will start here with the train that stops in all 3 cities. I don't think I will instantly get the second sort of train line going that only goes between Colburn and Basingstoke, just because I don't really see the need at the moment. I think we will wait till the city actually grows a bit further, or both cities actually grow a bit further, and if it becomes rather crazy with the first train, we will have a second high-speed train that really just goes one stop all the way through instead of stopping in the middle. So I think that's kind of the plan here, and I'm also currently seeing that this city has really kind of outgrown our tram network a bit, so we'll have to actually do something right here eventually, probably. For the time being, everything should still be very much in range, but that may eventually require some adjustment. And also maybe some more airplanes going eventually? I don't know. We'll see. I think there's like tons of plans you could make here. It's Freeplay. It's a sandbox, so we'll have huge tons of stuff going. But let's call this the City Hopper, just so I can have a bit of a reference. We start in Colburn, Broadstairs, and then we go to Basingstoke. So I think this City Hopper label I will just keep for myself, because for me it's honestly kind of a nice reference point of what kind of train line it is, and helps me understand things a bit better. I think that's a concept that is really being used in like actual railway lines as well, at least it is in Germany. There's, you know, I think they usually call the City Hoppers the trains that only go to the big stations, if I don't. So I'm just doing it vice versa, but for me it's personally just, you know, he goes to all the cities and the other trains just go, well, the high speed ones go all the way through. Just helps me label these things a bit better. But with that said, what kind of train car well, not train car, but what kind of train do we actually pick? I think we really only have cars at the moment that go 100 kilometers an hour, so no real reason to pick more than that. I'm kind of considering to go electric just to keep the emissions down, to be honest. And we've got this A47 here, which goes 100 kilometers an hour, which is honestly kind of convenient. Also has more power and tractive effort than the Flying Scotsman, which is also quite convenient. And it only has 61 emissions instead of 73, which is of course also quite convenient. And all these trains are, all these train tracks are already electrified, so that's honestly kind of nice. I think we will go that way then. We will pick these big train cars, and I think let's start with 102 capacity. We don't have the money for it. interestingly enough. Did not pay attention to that at all. So we'll have to go earn that real quick, but I think this is going to be the plan for our passenger train, honestly. That sounds like a pretty good one. And then we'll, of course, need the money for our fuel train as well, and then I don't know, then we'll see what next developments we do. I mean, the crazy thing is, we are in 1930 right now, and we are developing the heck out of all this stuff. Like, this game probably easy kind of keeps developing new vehicles and stuff till, like, 2010 or something. So, there's, like, an infinitely huge amount of episodes probably still to go till we ever reach the end of the pipeline, which is, you know, interesting and exciting to me. Before the time being, we're going to get this going. Not too happy with my profit right now, but I'm sure there'll be some, like, huge grain train coming in any second now that will give me the money needed. But I don't want to keep you all waiting, so as usual, I'll place a quick cut and I'll be back with you once that grain train has actually arrived. Alright, and back we are. As you can see, just bought the train. I have to say though, our profitability is not really quite as high as I would really like it to be. I think we will have to just kind of look at financials in a second as well and see how things are doing here and there. But that is then our new train rolling out, and I think it's actually our first electrified passenger train, which is pretty cool indeed. And look at this modern beauty. Absolutely perfect. That's going to be hopefully very nice and help us transporting passengers all over the place. Now, one thing I'm just currently finding out is that we did not actually attach this to the whole... Did we? Did we attach this to the whole line yet? We did not. Yeah, we probably need to change that, don't we? So... What's this? Is this the oil? Yeah, it is. And we've got... Ah, okay, I see. So, we definitely need to change this all over the place. I actually need to quickly get a game turned off in the background, so that's good that I forgot about that. I hope the FPS were good thus far. I'll be right back. So, I'm back, and it turns out that Escape from Tarkov was actually running in the background, probably lowering my FPS a bit. I don't know, I didn't really feel that much of it, but I hope it was all fine and bearable for you all as well. That was honestly a bit weird and scary, but Transport Fever seems to be more fluid than ever for me right now, which is very crazy and interesting. I like it. I'm not going to complain. Maybe there's been some performance patches or something, but what we definitely need to take care of here real quick is actually rerouting our public traffic a bit, I think. Because, well, the way that it currently is, we don't actually cover the whole city, and we do definitely not cover the train station right here. So, as you can see, I mean, the thing is, we gotta actually kind of check out, because I was not able to expand this street right here. So the question is, I think I was kind of considering to work with two different sets of cable car lines here. Now, the thing that I'm currently wondering about is, why is this not upgraded? Was I not able to upgrade it, or... Because, like, that would actually be kind of good to have. Let's try, let's see. It does seem to work. So maybe, because like, what are the lines looking right now? This is honestly does not make too much sense. Well, actually, nothing of this makes too much sense, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of considering to just make this one big line. But I'm also at the same time considering to split it up into two small lines. I mean, the thing is, Colburn is really not that big just yet, so I think one line could very much still service the city. The question kind of being more for me, does this kind of keep everything attached to the overall grid, or would we be missing out on something by moving these stops to the outside corners? And I'm thinking the answer is that everything will be covered. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm honestly not 100% sure. And the thing is, we will also need to kind of move this stop to over here. So like all this stuff kind of like this has to go, and everything that this covers has to be covered by our other stops. So I feel... This feels like we cover everything, to be honest. We do. We cover the city center with those outside ones. So I think we're gonna go and remove that one. We're gonna go and remove that one. And then we're going to reroute our trams real quick, and hopefully it's all going to be going fine. So, Colburn, cable car. Where is the Colburn cable car? Is it Tram Colburn? Probably it's called Tram Colburn. There we go. Okay, so we will have to go and remove the green, and we will have to go and remove High Street. And we will start at Colburn Branch. Then we will go to York Road. Then to Kingsway, then to Church Road, then to Colburn Sidings, then to South Street. And that should cover it all. It seems like it's all nicely flowing in one direction, so I didn't mess up the placement of any of these tram stops. And that's going to be the new way that we do it. Also, I'm just going to actually rename this. And I'm going to call it Colburn South. And, well, you know, this... Why is this Upper Colburn? This is Lower Colburn. We will call this Lower Colburn. No, we will call it Colburn South as well. Like this is all going to go nicely in line. So there we go. Few train stations actually named, and this is Colburn Central. That's very nice and easy. We will actually call this Colburn Central as well, just so people know where they are, right? So that's all nicely aligned now. And that should now also cover our passenger station right here with public transport, which should be nice. In Basingstoke, no, not Basingstoke, Broadstairs and St. Peter's, I don't think we have much to worry about in terms of public transport. Actually, we kind of do. We kind of actually do. I'm thinking we need to actually get a public transport hub going right here, and we're currently just working with buses. So, I mean, it's a small city and all. I'm kind of considering to just make it a bus station without a tram track, to be honest. Just like this. And make it maybe 20 meters of length at least, but like something like this feels honestly pretty alright for like a little small train, like public transport hub and like a little town. I mean, it's probably still a bit oversized, but I think that's pretty good, and we'll have to actually attach that to the grid so that people can actually go to that train station too. I totally forgot about actually updating the public transport. Should have probably done that before spending 15 million bucks on a train, but well, not like we cannot quickly just fix that. So we're going to add that then to the little loop-de-loop, and that will be nice and easy. So passenger transport is going to be interesting. I mean, that's going to be the first thing that is really going to start boosting Broadstairs and St. Peter's a bit, except for like the bit of public transport that we are going on so far. But honestly, it's kind of probably more shrunk the town overall, the efforts thus far, because I mean, look at that pollution effect, right? Like all these trains passing by, probably not the greatest thing in the world. So that is hopefully going to help a bit now, and we really need to probably actually look into bricks so that this thing doesn't eventually shrink to nothing. So that's maybe something to look forward to in the future. Then public transport and Basingstoke. I think this is honestly all pretty nicely sorted still. I'm not really all too worried about this. We've really covered most of everything of the city right here. This is all covered. That's all covered. We've got our Basingstoke Central right here, and we will call that Basingstoke Central too. And yeah, then that's all nicely done. We should probably not put a hashtag in there. You know, hashtags weren't really a thing in the 1930s, so that's gonna go. But this is all nicely taken care of in public, in terms of public transport. I'm not all too worried about it. This could also kind of spell more trouble for our airport, honestly, because I can kind of imagine that the train passengers coming down here from like Colburn will want to take an airplane to like another city or something, so it could honestly end up being a bit crazy. We will see about that. I think it's not really a possibility to assign like 2 terminals to one line, if that makes sense, kind of to just allow planes more spaces to fill up with passengers. So I think this mess is kind of what we're stuck with at the moment, because we don't have any new airplanes as far as I'm aware, at least. So it's kind of like this is all we get at the moment. We will have to make this work like that for the time being. That's why I'm also kind of questioning that the whole clay supply thing with airplanes is going to work, because we're just going to bring like 5 clay at a time, which is basically nothing. So we'll have to see about that. But that's running. Now, before we actually look into fuel, I want to really look at the profitability here, because I don't know, I wasn't too happy. It didn't feel like we really made quick progress in terms of anything. I mean, like, public transport lines not being all too profitable doesn't really matter too much to me, but there's some things, like this thing, food to Blackburn. It doesn't make any profit. It doesn't seem to be picking up any food even, or much of anything. We're at minus $1 million, which may be just because Blackburn is that small. Yeah, it could just be that. Maybe we just need to wait for that to grow and kind of accept, that we're going to be making losses for a bit here. I mean, has this train already reached Blackburn? Yeah, okay, so we've kind of unloaded a bit of food. Not too much, but you can see right here that some food has actually reached the place. Okay, I think we will have to accept that part for the time being. The question kind of being, what is the frequency here? Because we've only got a kind of demand of 27, right? So maybe we are kind of overdoing this a bit. We are... Yeah, so demand of 27, we've got a rate of 233. Are you for real? I should have. Why did I go for the expensive train? Okay, like, we gotta change a lot about this, I think. So, for a start, I think we're gonna swap to BR75.4, because, that's going to save us some money in terms of maintenance, and already up the profitability by like 300k that year over that way. And we're going to go and get rid of some of these carts, which will, for one, allow the train to be a bit faster, which is going to be nice because this one's a bit weaker, and also kind of keep our maintenance a bit lower overall, I think. And we don't need that many. So something like this is going to be totally fine. We get 2.5 million even for doing that change, and it's hopefully going to help with profitability. So this is maybe a very good thing to actually review our profitability and the feasibility of what we are doing here and there a bit more. This thing all happy with. We've got Fuel Badal, which also seems to be rather unprofitable, to be honest. We are only halfway loading that thing up, and that may be because this thing is not grown properly yet, but that's also kind of a bit weird because our shipment rates are not at 300, which may be why we need to actually attach this thing. But Badal then being up here, we've got a fuel demand of 62, which we're not really fulfilling, which is kind of weird. I mean, I think honestly, I don't know. Why is our shipment rate that low, to be honest? Is the train... I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. Like, the thing is, the train is honestly quite short for the locomotive that we're using, so we could probably be saving a bit on it. But then on the other hand side, this is all going uphill, so that may be a bit of an issue. I think this will honestly be one of those cases where we just got to wait for more demand to develop. I think that is honestly kind of like the other food train. We'll leave that be for the time being. We've got Fuel Line Darlydale, and that is crazily unprofitable right now, which is insane. I'm pretty worried about that, and given that I don't know, why are these supply rates this low right now? Because like we've got like only a shipping rate of 190. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking, to be honest. I'm thinking that this thing is just not producing enough at the moment, but I'm not sure why the shipment rate would be this low. I'm really confused about why the shipment rate is that low. I mean, this thing is about to reach the Darlydale, so it's probably going to change the profitability a bit, but I don't know about our fuel lines. Kind of worrying, to be honest. Grain Stapleford, that's just because it hasn't reached the delivery point yet. Passengers. Colburn Badale? No, Colburn Badal, yeah. Very unprofitable. Very, very, very unprofitable. Now, the thing is, as I say, with public transport, it's kind of just a matter of actually growing the cities, but given that this thing's been going for 22 years, that's like insanely unprofitable. So Colburn Badal, I don't know why nobody wants to go from Colburn to Badal, but I really don't like it. You can see right here, only 2 people. The thing is, we've also got this longer range train, so people are kind of splitting up a bit, and Well, I mean, Badal is still very much in the process of growing as well, so that's probably a factor. And I just see the main factor right here, right now. I don't think we're covering all of the city. We are covering all of the city with public transport like that? Pretty much all of it? That's kind of crazy. Okay, so we're going to keep it like that for the time being, but it is at a point where I think we will have to revisit that very soon, and the trains are going to become profitable eventually. And other than that, I mean, this is all fine, which is surprising. I thought it was a bit worse, to be honest, but that's alright. That's going to be the way that it is. So, we're going to live with that. Now, we also want to get some fuel going. I think that's really something we need to get going just to hopefully increase that shipment rate a bit. And then we can kind of just see where to go from there. So what I will be doing is I'll just build another train depot on the other side. Honestly, I can't be asked to do some crazy train track to connect this all up, and then we will connect it right here, and that's going to be fine. And then we will be doing a quick line from here to here, and we will call it fuel to Basingstoke, just like that. Probably should be an electric train as well, to be honest, to avoid like emissions messing up Broadstairs and St. Peter's even more, which there will still be emissions, but hopefully it's not going to be that bad. So I mean, I think we can go like 80 kilometers an hour with these things here. Yep, so we'll just grab a crocodile. 75 kilometers an hour, totally fine, and the maintenance is going to be a lot lower than the other things. So we're going to grab that, and we actually need some more money for that kind of train. So I think let's call it here then, as the time for the episode is already coming to an end. Next episode we'll quickly be buying a new train for the fuel, and hopefully we will get Colburn, the Colburn fuel refinery to upgrade to the next few levels, and that way we'll be able to supply more of the other cities too. And well, then we'll be looking at maybe doing some clay and actually pushing Broadstairs and St. Peter's a bit. Also probably got to revisit all the other things we ever did, because like within like 2 years everything has probably exploded in terms of city size. I don't know, the list of things to do never ends, and well, I'm really looking forward to the next bit of stuff. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode for today, though. I'm going to end it off right here. And if you did enjoy it, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does always help out the channel a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider subscribing right down below, as well as hitting that bell icon to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. But with all that out of the way, as always, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll have a great weekend, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.